get this, only you will get the 0. So to understand the break, so this is the one flow chart, okay, you have to understand, and it will give you the better idea to understand what are the loop controllers. So just look at this. So this is the text expression of loop, right? And now either you can also use a while, either you can also use a for loop. Okay, in case of while you have to check a text expression. In case of for loop here, it will end on the last element of your sequence. Now the point, okay, if the text expression of the loop will be true, so your body will be execute, right? And now it will execute the body of your loop. So let's suppose if you have write one line and two line and three line before the break statement. Okay, so all three line will be executed successfully. Okay, if the test expression is true. Now the point is, if you have write down a break statement inside the loop body. Okay, there's a two possibilities, the yes or no. Okay, if you have write a break statement there, okay, if the break statement will execute, so on that point it will directly exit your loop. Okay, it will not check another further statement of your loop. If there's a no break found inside the loop, so what it will do, it will execute the remaining body of loop. Okay, and now after that it will fetch the next statement for the loop. Okay, it could be for and while. If the text expression of the loop false, so on the starting point it will exit your loop. So that's how the break keyword is work. Okay, in case of loop controller, break is used to terminate your loop at a particular point, and the point could be anything, right? So let's take an example to understand this particular thing. Okay, and now what are the flow? If you want to check out the flow, there's a one more picture I have written. Okay, either this is a one example to understand. So this is a for loop I have execute here. Okay, and now inside the for loop I have defined a one condition as well. Okay, so what does it mean? So only break statement will execute once the if condition is true. If the if condition will fall, so the break statement will not be executed. Thus you have to understand this point. Okay, if the condition will be true, so it will break that particular point and it will not execute this line. If you are able to see this line, so this line will not be executed if the condition is true, because once the break statement has been executed, so directly it will exit your loop body and it will execute the main code from the outside of the loop. Okay, and now that's how break statement is work inside the for loop. In case of while loop, just there's a very pretty simple syntax you are able to see. Just the same syntax you have to follow in case of while loop exactly. Okay, the logic will be same. Just once the while loop will execute, the first line of your loop body will execute if the condition is true or false. Okay, there's a two possibility. If the condition is true, so break will execute. Once the break is execute, so it will not execute the remaining part of your loop. Okay, directly it will terminate loop, and now it will execute the codes outside the while loop. So let's take one real example. Let me remove these notations. Okay, so this is just an example. To understand this, let me clear all the first of all, and now that's how it works. Now the point is what I have done. So I have written a one string here, right? Now when I'm going to execute this program, so what it will do for you. So first of all, let's suppose to an example, you didn't mention any condition here. Okay, there's a no condition. You have written a break statement, and now there's it. That's good. Or either you can also return your break statement before as well. Now it's your choice. There's a multiple possibility. And now just let's take an example. So what it will do for you, first of all, when the for loop will execute in string sequence, okay, this is an iterator string, so it will assign s inside the well. Okay, and now just look at this, only you will get the s because the break statement has been executed directly. Okay, in the second line, or the loop will terminate, and it at the end of the session it will print at the end. The point is, if I would not like to execute break each and every time, so I will define a one condition if well equal to I, or either you can define the h as well, it's your choice. So I have defined a one condition. Okay, and if this particular condition is true, then I would like to execute the break, otherwise no. Okay, so first of all, when you have assigned s inside the well, so it will not execute. Okay, once it will execute again the same loop, so it will assign a inside well, after that c, and after that the h. When you have assigned h inside the well on that particular point, this condition is also true. Once this condition is true, so the break statement execute and it will not fetch the I or n from your loop sequence. So So just look at this, only you will get SACH, and now once this statement is executed, so it will give you the AND section, or either you can simply check it out along using a else part. Just look at this, how many times the else part has been executed, because this particular condition will be false at the first time, second, third. Okay, just that's why you are getting the 3 else as well. Okay, that's how the break statement is work inside the for loop. Okay, either you can also use the for inside the either you can also use the break statement inside the while loop. Okay, you would be able to terminate your loop on a specific number of point where you want to simply define the condition as well. Okay, so that's how the break is work. And now either just you can also create a one more program to understand. I think I have created a one program in yesterday's session as well, but there we have used a while loop. Okay, and along while we have used a not equal to operator as well. But in this program, what I'm going to do, just let's take an example. If you like to initialize a infinite loop, so for that, just you can simply type while and true. So true is a boolean operator, right? And now it always true a condition. When you have defined a while true, so this particular loop will become a infinite loop. Okay, you don't have to define any variable here. So this is a statement if you would like to define a infinite loop. And what I will do, let's suppose if I will take an input from a user, data or input, and your name. So that's good. If I will execute this statement, just look at this. Okay, so it will repeat again and again. Okay, this is an infinite loop what I have created. There's no way to terminate this point. So what I'm going to do, just I'm going to stop the kernel. Okay, so the point is, let's suppose I would like to break my loop, okay, on a particular point, and where I would like to break. So I can simply define a one condition here. When data is equal to exit or done, it's your choice what statement you can simply define, or either you can also define a multiple statement. Okay, so this is a method. If a user will type done or a exit, okay, so this is a logical operator we have already discussed in case of conditionals. Okay, this is an OR operator I have mentioned. So if this condition is true, or either this one, so both the time will condition true. So what you will execute, I will execute that break. So that's how I have created this program. So now the point is, when you're going to type any name here, okay, so all the name will work fine. There's no issue. Now the point, if you want to type empty, that's also fine. But if you will type the exit or done, so when I will type the done here, so done string will assign inside the data when this particular condition will be true. Once the condition is true, it will execute the break. Your loop will be terminated. Just look at this. So that's how you can also use a break statement inside the while loop as well. Okay, so now the point. Okay, the second we have to discuss about the continue statement, guys. Okay, and now we will also use a continue statement. Okay, and when we will use a continue statement, let's suppose to an example what you will do. So just the syntax of the continue, just this you have to write the continue here. There's no method to write. Okay, just like a break. If you will try to understand the flow chart of the continue, okay, so just look at this. So when you're gonna use a continue statement, okay, in case of loop, okay, because continue is also a loop controller, so it will not terminate your loop. Okay, so the point is, first of all, you have to understand the text expression, right? If the text expression of the loop will true, so the loop will be executed. Okay, now it will execute the first statement of your part. Once the text expression of loop is true, so either the expression was false, then it will exit your loop. If the expression is true, now it will execute the body of your loop, right? And now when it will try to execute the body of loop, let's suppose to example you have write a first line here and the second line, and both the line has been executed. Both the line have both the line have been executed. If you have written a continue here, so what it will do for you? So if the continue statement will execute inside a loop, so it will not execute the remaining part of your loop. Okay, if you have written multiple statement after the continue as well, this is a remaining body of the loop. Okay, if the continue statement has been executed, so directly it will go to take a next statement from the loop. Okay, so it will not execute the remaining part. If If the continue was not there, so it will execute the remaining part of the loop as well. So that's how the continuous work. So let me explain one more time. Most of the guys will confuse in continue statement. So let me explain one more time here. So clear all. Just look at this. So first of all, if the text expression of the loop is true, okay, loop will be execute multiple time until the expression is true. Good. But the point, if you have written a continuous statement inside the loop body, so if the continue has been executed, so it will not execute the remaining part of loop only for that statement. Okay, but the next time when that X expression is true, so it will not execute the remaining body of loop. Directly, it will go to take the next statement from the loop, or either you can simply it will go to the next iterator value from the loop. That's how the continue keyword is work in case of loop. Okay, so let me clear the notation. So let's take an example to understand this. So what's the flow of the continue? This is the one beautiful picture. You can simply understand using this picture. This is the first line of your loop body. Okay, the second line and the third line and the fourth line. Okay, just look at this. So you have written a 4 number of line, okay, inside a one loop body, right? When this particular statement will execute, right? It will execute once the loop will start, so it will execute the first line. That's cool. This particular line will be executed successfully. There's a no issue. Now it will depend. Now the condition could be true or it could be false. If the condition is true, what happened? So if the condition is true, the second line has been executed done. So it will also execute the third line because you have written continue inside the condition. And once the continue has been executed, so it will not go for fourth line. Okay, it will skip the fourth line. It will skip the remaining part of the code. Just directly, it will go for the next statement here. Now it will take a next statement from sequence, and now directly it will execute again. Okay, what happened if the condition might be false? Okay, if this condition will get the false result, so on that point the continue statement will not execute. So after the continue, it will execute the remaining part of the code. Okay, that's how the continues work. So let's clear all this, and now let's take an example to understand this. So what I'm going to do here, let's suppose for I will take a same example for right now. I'll take a one string here. You can also take a data as well. It's your choice what you want to do. Let's suppose I have taken Python. What I will do, just I will print the I value. That's cool. You are able to see the Python in each and every next line. Okay, why you are getting this particular each and every element in next line? Because the default parameter of the print statement, it will always attach a backward slash n each and every statement, right? So now the point is, let's suppose if I will type the continue here. Okay, what happened? That's cool. Or either I can simply type the continue as well here. That choice. Just let's execute this program. Okay, so what happened? You will get nothing here because this particular line will not execute. Or either I can simply define one more method. Just look at this start point. Okay, that's cool. And now copy paste, and this is a ending point. Okay, this is the ending point of 5, and now I will execute this. Just look at this. Or either I can also take a range as well. Okay, it's your choice. You can do anything here. Just now look at this, what I have done. So this is a starting point of 0, ending point of 0, starting blah 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 blah. Okay, that's how the statement is working perfectly. There's a no issue. What happened if I will type the continue here? So now the point, continue statement will execute each and every time. Okay, because I didn't define any condition before the executing of continue. So when the continue statement will execute each and every time, so it will not execute the fourth line of your body. Just look at this. Only it will execute this line, and after that the continue has been executed, and it will go for the next statement. Okay. What happens if I will define a one condition? What condition? If the value of the I will 2. Okay, so only on that point you have to execute the continue, otherwise not. So just what you are expecting here. So first of all, it will print the starting point of 0. Okay, after that it will ending point of 0, but it will not print the ending point of the 2. Why? Because on that point you have execute the continue statement and just get this particular thing. Or either you can simply define a 1 as well. It's your choice. And just look at this, what it will do for you. So once you have assigned 0 inside the I, you will get the result of this line. This is a result. Okay, this condition has been become false. Okay, that's why the last line is also able to execute. Okay, but the next time when you have assigned 1 inside the I, this particular line has been executed and this condition is also true, and the continue has been also executed. Once the continue executes, so it will not execute the remaining part of your loop. That's how the continue statement is work inside the loop. And now both the statements are called loop controllers, because using the break statement you can simply break your loop at a specific point, or using the continue, just you can simply skip the body of your loop on a specific point. That's how the continuous work. Okay, so there's a more example to understand the same program. Just look at this. It will fetch the value from here. Okay, once value equivalent to the G, so it will execute the continue. So what you are expecting here, so you will get the whole name instead of G. Just look at this, E double G Y. Okay, and the G is missing between them, because once the condition is true, continue has been executed and you will not get the value of the one. So that's how the continue statement is work. Okay, and now there is a one more statement is called pass. Okay, and now actually this is not a loop controller. You will define pass multiple times. Okay, if you are trying to define a empty function or empty class or empty condition, so there just you can simply define a one pass keyword. Okay, so pass is also a keyword, and when you are trying to define a pass statement, that was actually a null statement, you can simply say. Okay, and the way you want to use, let's suppose took an example. Okay, we will discuss later about the function as well. Okay, let's suppose took an example. You are trying to check one condition, if 10 is less than 20. Okay, but the point, you don't want to define the body of if right now. Okay, you want to define the body of if later. Okay, but you want to define the and statement of your line, and statement. But the point, you will get an error. Why you will get the error? Because if you have defined a colon here, so at least you have to write one line inside the if body. Otherwise you will get an indentation error. Just look at this. Now the program has been expecting this particular line should be inside the if block. That's why you didn't write anything there. So I can simply write a pass statement. When I will write a pass statement here, so what does it mean? Just it will pass this statement and let it be, and now it will execute successfully. Most of the time we have used pass statement in case of functions, in case of classes as well. Just look at this. If you are trying to define a function and you want to define the body of function later in your program, you can simply define the pass here for that time. And once you are trying to define the body of function, just you can simply remove or the pass, or either you can simply just let it be. So it will pass your indentation here. So that's how the pass statement is work. This is a normal null value. Okay, so hopefully you understood, guys. If you have still any doubt, just you can let me know. It is no, pass is not a variable, pass is a keyword actually. Okay, okay, that's good. So what is L? Where is L? Where you are able to see the L? I is iterative. No. I is not a iterative. Sorry, I is not a iterable variable actually. Okay, if you will discuss about these statement, guys, so let me discuss once more time. Just I'm going to take a moment for that. So either just what I have used multiple time, I have used I, right? So instead of I, you can use any variable here. Okay, that particular variable will define multiple time. Okay, if you will define a var or name or num, you can simply define any variable. Okay, this is a variable. This particular variable define number of times. It will, how many numbers you have defined inside the range. So it will return 5 numbers. So the num variable will be initialized 5 times. That's how you will execute. So just you can simply skip the break, and now you will get the whole values here. And what is actually a pass? So let's suppose if you are trying to define some conditions here, but the point is you don't want to define the functionality of this right now. Okay, most of the time we will use the pass keyword inside the functions. Let's suppose took an example, you want to create a program for a multiple, and that particular program have a multiple functionality. Okay, there you have to define multiple functions. But right now you don't want to define the functionalities of those functions, login, sign up. Okay, so this, on that point, just you can simply write down the pass here. Okay, and the pass will work. Otherwise, if you will not write the pass here, so it will give you the indentation error. So it will not pass each and everything. This is a normal null keyword you have defined, and now it will pass this statement. and then you would be able to define your empty function, and later you can simply define the functionalities of those functions as well. So that's how the passes work. Okay, because you cannot write an empty line if you have defined a colon there. That's how the passes work. Okay, so let me move forward on top of the exception handling. Okay, yep, you can say pass is not a variable. Again, I'm repeating, pass is a keyword. Okay, because if you will discuss about the differences about the continue and the pass, so pass will do nothing for you. Okay, just it will skip the indentation for you. Okay, most of the time it will fulfill the indentation level for you. But in case of continue, okay, just look at this. In case of continue, actually continue will not be able to execute if the continue statement has been executed. So the you would not be able to execute the remaining body of loop. Okay, that's how the continue statement is work in case of your. Just look at this. But if you will write a pass instead of continue here, so it will nothing will do, and the all the values should be executed fine. There's a no issue. The continue will take the next statement from your loop. It will not execute the remaining code. That's how the continue is work. So let me move forward to the next topic, and the next topic is all about the exception handling. Okay. So, okay, this is freeze. Now that's good. So let me close this. Okay, and try to, if you are trying to understand the exception handling, okay. So on that point, how you would be able, first of all, you have to know what is actually exception handling. Okay. So to understand the exception handling, so let me create a one basic program. Where do you need to use the exception handling in your programs? Okay. So this is a one concept I'm going to use. Exception. Okay. Let's take an example. You like to take a two number from users. Okay. And now you know very well this is a method to take a numbers. Enter num1. It will give you the num1. If you're going to take a num2, it will give you the num2 as well. That's how it works. Now the point is, you are trying to print that division of both numbers as well. Division. Okay. And what division you have to calculate? Num1 slash num2. That's how it's works. This is a very basic program what I have created. 10 slash my bad 10 or 2. So it will return 5.0. Okay, it will divide the num1 by the num2. Now the point is, when you are trying to take an input from a user, okay, you are expecting a user will give you the integer number, right? When you will take a one string from a user, instantly you are trying to convert that string into the integer. That's how it works. Now the point is, if I'm gonna execute the same program again, okay, so what happened? So let's suppose if I will write 100 here, and the second statement, instead of writing an integer number, I'm gonna write a 1 my name, or either you can simply write 1280. So that's how what I have write. So let's take an example. A user will give you this input by mistake. It could be anything, right? Now the point is, when you will execute this program, so your program has been terminated on that point. Okay, it will not be execute the remaining part of your body as well. Okay, so on line number 2, your program has been terminated, and what's the error? Actually, you would not be able to convert 1280 to integer because that was an invalid return, right? Now the point is, you have to handle this type of exception. Let's suppose if you are trying to withdraw some amount, okay, from a particular platform, and you are trying, only you have to put the integer there, right? So on that point, by mistake we have typed the string. So what happens? So the background program will be fatal on that point. So just you have to handle these type of errors behind the scene. You know very well, when a user will give you the input, user type anything. So that's why you have to use exception handling there. The another method, and where we can simply use the exception handling, let's suppose if you will discuss about the client and server architecture, okay, so where we have to understand many and multiple points. Let's suppose take an example. This is a database, right? And now this is a one database we have assigned, and now this is a mainframe computer. This is a web application you are executing. Your website is running here. Okay, and this is a user machine, and user will send a request to you. A user will send a request to you. When a user will send a request, let's suppose you have disconnect, and now this is a database, okay, and now this is a web server, and this is a database, this is a web server, this is a user. Now the point, user will send a request on web server, Okay, user will try to log in. Now the point is, by mistake or due to the technical issue, the website would not be able to connect to the database. Okay, might be there is some error, might be there is some internet, or it could be anything. Okay, the web application would not be able to connect to the database. So but the user is trying to log in into the user account. On that point, you will not print a very big error on top of user screen. Okay, you will not print this type of error on top of user screen. So which type of error you gonna print on top of user screen? The internet is not connected or the server is not found. You will define one specific code as well. So because you will not give this type of error to the user, because user would not be able to understand this type of error, but user will understand one pretty message what you want to type here. So how you going to handle this type of exception when you will try to connect your database? Okay, due to some technical error, internet error, or connection error, you will not be able to connect. Okay, so your background program will be fatal on that point. Okay, so you can simply define all these part inside the exception handling, where you already know, okay, might be you will execute this particular statement, you can simply get the error. Okay, it could be generate a error as well. So on that point, just you can simply use the exception handling concept. Okay, and you will find out a multiple way where you're gonna use exception handling. So the point is, let's suppose there's a one more way where you're gonna use the exception handling. Let's suppose if you're trying to execute, I will execute 10, okay, and I will execute the 0 as well. Okay, that's fine. There's a no issue. I will give the 10 and 0. What happens? So it will also give you the error. So now you will receive a one different error because you will not be able to divide any number by 0 in case of Python programming. If you are trying to do that, so you will receive a 0 division error here. So these type of error, if you are trying to handle, so just you can simply use a multiple block, okay, of a particular keywords. And what are the blocks you want to use here? So these are the blocks. The first is a try block, okay, and you have to define the body of try here. I'm gonna use a pass because I cannot leave the empty statement here. After that, you have to define the except block. Okay, the third block will be the else block, and the just define the pass, and the fourth block will be the finally, okay, and the pass. So these are the 4 block, guys, you're gonna use, okay, in case of exception handling. So these are the 4 blocks. So first of all, the try, except, else, and the finally. And how you would be able to use 4 block in case of exception handling? So let me explain. And what I have done, just I have defined the pass. If I will not type the pass here, at least I have to type one line. But right now, I don't want to type any line here because now then the pass statement. Okay, it will pass the values. But the point is how you would be able to understand try, except, and else finally. The point is when you are trying to execute a piece of code and you know very well, okay, this particular code might be generate an error in your program, then you can simply put that particular code inside that try body. Okay, so let's suppose it will give you the 2 results. Okay, might be the code has been executed successfully, or it could be give you the error as well. Okay, it could be true or false. Now the point is, if the code has been executed successfully, it will not give you any error. So on that point, it will execute the else part as well. Okay, so it will execute the else part, and the what body you have defined inside the else, that particular body has been executed. Okay, and once the else part has been successfully executed, it will execute the finally as well, because finally block will execute always. Okay, if you will get the error or not the error, so finally block will always be executed. Now there's a except block is skipped right now, and when the except block will execute, let's suppose took an example, you will receive a one error in case of try part. Okay, inside the try, okay, you have received a one error. The error could be anything, 0 division, value, name, error could be anything. Okay, once you get the error inside the try part, okay, inside the try block, so directly it will execute the except. Okay, so when it will execute the except, so the else will not be executed. So that's how you have to understand the logic of the execution of these 4 statements. Just try to understand. Finally will always execute. Okay, not to worry. The final block will always execute. But if you will get an error inside the try, the except will execute. If you will not get any error inside the try, the else will execute. So that's how the for blocks is work. So let me take in one example to understand. Let's suppose if I'm gonna take the same example, okay, which I will receive multiple errors here. So let me do copy and paste. And what happened? So when you are trying to execute this program, if I will type 10 or search in, so I'm expecting I will receive an error in line number 2. So what I will do, let's suppose I'm gonna mention the try, okay, and I will mention both the statement inside the try block. And once you have done this, let's suppose you have defined the print as well inside the same thing. After that, what you are trying to do, you are define the expect block. Inside the accept block, I will define please use integer var. Okay, so I have defined a one pretty statement here. Instead of this error, now user will get this particular statement, okay, instead of this type of error. So user would easily understand, okay, what mistake a user have done. So you have defined a two block, try, accept, okay. Either you can also use it only two block, both block should be execute fine. There's a no issue. Now I have execute, try and accept. Let's suppose 10 and 2. So let's take an example. Now it will execute that num1 and num2. It will give you the division as well. Okay. So there's a no issue. Okay. It will not execute the accept part because you will not get this particular point, right? I will execute the same thing again. 10 and I will write my name here. So what happened? So just look at this. Now this time it will not give any error, right? But only it will give you the one. Please use the integer value, okay, because the error already has been handled by the try block. Okay, now once you will get the error inside the try, the accept part has been executed, and inside the accept you have written a pretty statement, please use the integer. This is a bit forward statement, and now the user would easily understandable this statement, right? So I have done a one mistake, just I have to write the integer values. So that's how it works. Now the another point, let's suppose if I will write 10, okay, or now that's working fine. If I will write the first statement in string, it will also give you the please use integer value. So once it will fail on line number 1, so it will not execute the remaining part of the try block as well. So directly it will go to the accept part. Okay. The point is, let's suppose I will execute 10 and 5 or 4, what I have mentioned here. Or if I will mention the 0. Now just let me know, this is also integer and 0 is also integer, right? But the point is, this particular statement is still executing. Please use the integer value. Why I am getting this statement? Because behind the scene, it will receive a different error. Which type of error it will receive? So it will receive a 0 division error instead of value error. So that's why the point is. Okay, so let me close the AC. Might be that's cool. Okay, don't worry. We will explain it again, all the part as well. So here, so first of all, try to understand this part. I will explain this part again, not to worry. So what I have done, guys, so once, now the point is you have received a different type of error behind the scene, but the point is, if you will execute, if you will face an error inside the second line, so you will get a different type of error, right? Which type of error you are getting there? So sometime you will get the 0 division error, sometime you will get the value error as well. Now the point is, if you are getting a different error there, right? So now you have used a one accept. Okay, when the one accept is execute, only it will return a one statement, and a user would not be able to understand what mistake a user have done, because user will give you both the integer value and the user still get a please use integer value. So on that point, just you can simply mention a multiple accept, okay, and along the accept you have to define the error name as well. And if you're going to mention the 0 division error, okay, and the mind was spelling should be correct. Oops, the spelling is right. That's cool. Inside the 0 division error, so I'm gonna write a print statement, a word statement, don't use 0. Okay, so that's a statement what I have mentioned here. Now the point is, let me execute the same program again. 10, okay, and I have written a one string. So you will get please use an integer value, that's fine. I'll get the 10 and 0, and you'll get don't use the 0. Why? Once the error has been occurred, so it will handle by the first exception, because you have defined a error name. So once this particular error has been matched with your error, so it will execute this particular except instead of the last one. So that's how you can simply define, that's how you can simply use a multiple except statement as well in your exception handling case. According to the different error, just you can simply execute a different type of part here. Okay, that's how the exception handling is work. And the one more point, let's suppose if you will not get any error inside the try block, just you can also execute the else part as well. Or either instead of writing this statement here, just you can simply write this statement here. Okay, so let me connect the charger. Excuse me guys, just give me a moment, I have to connect plugin. Okay, sorry for interruption. So hopefully I'm audible to all of you. So that's how what I have done. So I have used a else part as well. Another point is when I have used the else part, so only the else part will execute if you will not get any error inside the try block. I'll execute the part 10 2. Just look at this, because you will not get any error inside the try block, then both the statement has been executed successfully. That's why the last one is also executed. If you will receive any error, so directly it will not execute the else part, only it will match the except point, which except has been matched. Once it will match, so it will execute that part. Now please use the integer value. That's how the all blocks are work. The last one is finally. In case of finally, this block is always execute. Okay, and now that's how it works. And now you will get the result from the finally as well. If you will get any error inside the program as well, so still the finally statement has been executed. So that's how all the blocks has been worked in case of exception handling. Okay, and now if you have any doubt, just let me know. Let me explain this point one more time, guys. Okay, and this is a very important topic you have to use in case of your programs. Okay, if you like to create any project, so if you are trying to expect any input from a user could give you any input, right? So just we have to write down the exception handling. First of all, you have to mention the try except block. After that, you have to take input from a user. Okay, so now the point, that was actually error. Zero division error is not a keyword. Okay, is not a variable. That was a defined error. So you have to use that particular error. Only you have to use that particular thing inside the except. Okay, and there's a good question have been asked from Siddharth, where we can simply use a finally. Okay, in case of real world, if you want to talk about the finally statement, so most of the time we have used the finally statement when we are trying to connect using a database. Let's suppose inside the try statement you are trying to connect your database. Okay, once if you would able to connect your database, right? So sometime once you have successfully connected your database, you are trying to write some queries. Okay, you are fetch some queries as well. But the point is, let's suppose if we have done a one wrong query, right? On that point, that particular statement will be false. But the point, you should have to disconnect the connection from the database as well. Okay, otherwise it will consume the memory. So will always mention the disconnection of the database in the finally case. Okay, and just you have to write down your queries inside the except and the else. So that's how this is the one example to understand the finally block, where you're gonna use a finally. Okay, so you will get the different type of errors. So if you are trying to expect, as you can simply look at, okay, there's a no inbuilt, just you will get a multiple error, or either one you will create a program, so you will also able to understand. Okay, just if you are trying to print any undefined value, so what type of error you will get here. So just look at this, you will get the name error, right? If you are trying to define, if you are trying to convert a data into another data, okay, you will not be able to do that, then on that point you will get a value error. So there's a multiple error you will define if you are trying to expect. So you can simply type of all errors. Just you can simply check a Google, not to worry. Python. So you will get a list of the whole error. Just you can simply look at all the error. Okay, but when you will use exception handling, so you can simply try to understand. I don't know why it's not working. Might be there's an issue to ping the Google from my network. Maybe my DNS is not working. Just not to worry. So that's how you can simply check out the multiple error from the Google. If you have any another doubt, just let me know. Yep, you can simply write multiple block inside the try, guys. And the one more thing, worryable about the nested as well. Okay, if you are trying to write a try block inside the else, just this is also work. Print hi. Now this is also work. You can write except here. Spelling, my bad. So you can simply create a nested structure always. There's a no issue. Have from inside else. Okay, and now when it will execute, let me input integer, enter another number. So that's how. So what I have done, just I have mentioned another try except inside the else part. Now it will execute successfully. There's a no issue. The first part has been executed successfully. It will enter another number. Let me execute a integer. Just look at this. It will not execute this except. What happen if I'm gonna mention a such in here or any string? So the both the except has been executed. This one is also just high from the inside else. So that's how it works. Okay, you can also use multiple try. It's your choice. Yeah, you can also define custom exception, guys, using the raise keyword. Okay, we have not mentioned that particular part, just you have to do yourself. There's a raise keyword you have to use to mention your custom exception as well. Okay, and I have told you the use case of finally statement, because finally statement always execute. Okay, if we have established a connection along with your database inside the try, and you are trying to write some queries or fetch your queries from the database in case of all statements. Okay, but if you will receive any error, if you have done your part, so just you can simply disconnect your database inside the finally statement. Okay, if you are trying to do file handling as well, right, and you have opened a file. Okay, we will discuss this concept in next session as well. Okay, if you are trying to open any file, okay, after that, once you have opened your file, you are trying to write something inside a file, or if you are trying to read from a file. Okay, if you have done all the parts successfully, that you can simply close your file in the finally statement. If you have get any error in case of writing in your file, if you don't have any permissions to in case of writing, so on that point you will get an error here, but the file should be closed from your memory, because it will free your memory on that point. If you will not close your file, so it will consume the memory. That's why you're going to use a finally statement. Yeah, you have to use a, if you have a number of errors, then you have to use a number of exception handling statement as well. And if you're gonna look at actual program or actual code, always you'll find a multiple exception there. Okay, each and every time, just you have to use a try except, because you have to create a best program. Okay, that particular program should not be terminated automatically. Okay, on behalf of user input, on behalf of your inner calculation. So there you have to use a try and except blocks. Okay, so if you have any doubts, just drop your doubts ASAP, guys. You can define multiple except block. It's your choice. Okay, along with your error, and the single except, just you can simply define the one. It will accept all type of error. Okay, if you define all the error along with the error name, so it will only pick that particular statement. Yeah, I will give you the next assignment soon. Don't worry about that. Okay, I'll give you the one little. I will give you the little project to create a new assignment. I will give you the soon. Not to worry about it. Okay. Hopefully, I have done, guys. So let me wrap up this session. If you don't have any doubt, if you have any doubt, just we have 3 moments. You can simply drop your message inside the chat box. Okay, so there's some doubt if from num1 and num2 is not there, one it will give the error because num1 slash num2 is written only. Yep, if there's a num1 and num2 there, so it will not give the error there. So just you can simply remove the etc from there. Okay, so let's wrap up this session, guys. Goodbye.